So in the previous tutorial, we talked about views and how to add filters and how to extend the view and how to use the Jinja templating engine. And in this tutorial, we're going to talk about migrations and how to set up our database. So we're going to be using MySQL Workbench client. And if we open up here, we have a Masonite database that we created via this little button up here. And we have no tables, so just a clean database. So if we go to our craft command, you'll see that we have a couple of migration commands, right? So we have a migrate, refresh, reset, rollback, and a normal migrate. And if we go to databases/migrations, we have a user migration here. So migrations are a little bit different if you're coming from Django, and they're very similar if you're coming from something like Laravel. So with Django, you have the automatic migrations that are created when you change a model. This one in Masonite, migrations and models are completely separate. So any changes to your model aren't reflected in your migrations. All you have to do is worry about your migrations, and your models sort of take shape of your tables as you change them and manipulate them. So if you see here, we have a up method, and we have a context that we're creating a string named name, a string named email, which is unique, a string named password, and a string name remember token, which is nullable. So very, very intuitive here. Once you start to learn how to create these schemas, it'll be second nature. So if we just go ahead and clear this, and we try to migrate, we're going to be hit with a couple of errors here. So our first error is going to be that we don't have the packages that we need to install. We didn't want to make it so every single database package was installed by default. So that's up to you to install, right? So you might have MySQL, you might have Postgres. So if we just go ahead and pip install this. Okay, and then if we go to craft migrate again, we're going to be hit with another error. So this error is saying that we can't access the database because we have a password. So if we go to our .env file, you'll see that we have a little subsection here of database credentials. So for our sake, we do have a database named Masonite, but we have no password on it. And these credentials are stored in config database.py, and it's pulling all these environment variables. So now that we changed our .env file to show correct credentials, we can run it one last time. And you'll see that we migrated the users table. If we open up our database and refresh, you'll see that we now have a users table that had all that schema stuff in it. So we have our name, email, password, remember token. This created at and updated at is automatically created for you. It is from here. So this created those two columns. Masonite will handle the created at and updated at columns for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. Now, in order to create new migrations, if we go back to our craft command, we have this migration command. So we could say craft migration, name of migration, right here. So let's say we have, this might be add active to user, and we could say table users, right? So we on the users table. So if this migration was creating a table, we could say create and then the table name, right? So new tables or something. So we're going to be doing it on the users table. This will create a migration for us. We could open it up. And let's say we want a table dot integer of active. And we could just say it defaults to 0, or let's say 1. All right, because all users want to be active. So once we say here, we could say craft migrate. And we open up our database again. We'll do another call. And we now have an active flag at the end. And just for demonstration purposes, if we want to do the same thing for a new table, we want to say create subscribe table. And we could say create subscribes, let's say. And see, we have the exact same thing, but we have this subscribes table. So, right, so this might say string user. Right, let's just say that. And then if we go to craft migrate again, we now have a new table. Now what we can do is we can say, let's clear this out. We could say craft migrate refresh, which will roll back everything and then remigrate everything. We could say craft migrate reset, which will just roll back everything. And then we'd have to manually migrate again. And that's really it for migrations. I'll see you next tutorial.